Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're over 50 or if you care for someone who is, this might literally be the most important thing you listen to all year. There's something truly terrifying about a stroke, but honestly, it's probably not what you'd expect. See, it doesn't always start with this huge dramatic burst of pain or some catastrophic collapse. More often than not, it begins with incredibly subtle signals. We're talking about a smile that suddenly just looks a little off, an arm feeling kind of weak, or a totally familiar phrase that's suddenly super hard to get out of your mouth. And the real danger here? So many of us dismiss these quiet alarms. We brush them off thinking, oh, well, it's probably just old age acting up. But today, we're going to completely change that narrative. So we've got to ask ourselves, is it just fatigue or is it actually a stroke? Because as we hit that 50-year milestone, our bodies naturally change, right? Our blood vessels can lose that youthful elasticity, kind of like an old rubber band. And things like blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar, they start playing a much heavier hand in our cardiovascular and brain health. Now, a stroke happens when the vital blood supply to a part of your brain gets suddenly cut off. When the brain is starved of that oxygen-rich blood, its cells start dying immediately. That means just a few minutes of delay, literally just sitting there wondering if you only need a quick nap, can be catastrophic. But hey, the goal here isn't to panic you. The goal is to absolutely empower you so you can recognize these signs early and act right on time. Here's a quick look at what we're covering today. First up, the aging myth. Second, the 8 warning signs. Third, the vital fast rule. And finally, how relatives can save lives. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the aging myth. So, the absolute crucial point here is recognizing the stark contrast between totally normal aging and a full-blown emergency. Listen, it is completely normal to wake up feeling a bit stiff or to occasionally forget where you tossed your car keys. That's just gradual wear and tear. It happens to all of us. But a stroke is an entirely different beast. It presents as a sudden, incredibly sharp loss of physical or cognitive function. It's abrupt, it's immediate. Basically, whenever you see a physical change that happens rapidly, completely out of nowhere, you need to permanently delete the phrase, "it's just old age," from your vocabulary. Moving right along to section 2, the 8 warning signs. Okay, let's really dive into this and start from the top down. We'll look at the signs affecting the face and head first. When your brain starts misfiring because it's lacking oxygen, it loses control over the muscles it normally commands. Number 1 is facial drooping. You might notice one side of the face sagging or a smile that just isn't symmetrical anymore. A great quick test, just try to smile. If one side refuses to lift, pay close attention. Second is slurred speech. This is when you know exactly what you want to say, but the words just come out completely garbled, or the person listening literally can't understand you. If you try to repeat a basic sentence and it sounds weird, that's a massive red flag. Third up, sudden vision changes. We aren't talking about your eyesight slowly getting worse over 10 years. We're talking about sitting on the couch and suddenly seeing double, everything going blurry, or abruptly losing a chunk of your vision. And finally in this group, difficulty swallowing. This happens when your body just suddenly forgets how to coordinate those automatic throat muscles we use every day to eat and drink. Now, moving down the body, we have to talk about the limbs. And this brings us to a huge warning sign: sudden weakness. Picture this. You're just holding a regular glass of water, and out of nowhere, your arm just feels incredibly weak. You try to lift it, but it absolutely refuses to obey you. Or maybe one of your legs suddenly goes totally numb and won't hold your weight. Because this stuff so often happens first thing in the morning, people love to rationalize it. They say, oh, I must have just slept funny. Please, do not fall into this trap. An arm refusing to lift or a sudden loss of strength on one side of your body, That's a major neurological emergency, not a cramped muscle. All right, what about the brain and nervous system as a whole? The next sign to watch for is severe dizziness or a sudden loss of balance. A lot of older folks just assume they're dealing with standard vertigo. But listen, if you're walking down your hallway and the floor suddenly feels like it's tilting sideways, or you completely lose your coordination without warning, do not brush it off. Next is a sudden severe headache. And to be clear, this isn't just your everyday tension headache. This is blinding, severe pain that hits you like a freight train, entirely unlike your usual headaches, especially if it shows up with any of the other symptoms. And lastly, sudden confusion. We all blank on a name sometimes, sure, but suddenly not knowing where you are, being totally unable to follow a normal conversation, or acting super disoriented, that is your brain screaming at you that something is seriously wrong. Which brings us perfectly to section 3, the vital fast rule. Now, what's really interesting here is this incredibly handy toolkit that medical professionals use for these terrifying moments. It's the FAST acronym, and it is a total game changer. Let me walk you through it. F is for face. Ask the person to smile. Is one side drooping? A is for arm. Ask them to raise both arms up. Does one arm just naturally drift downward or seem weak? S is for speech. Have them repeat a super simple phrase. Is their speech slurred or sounding weird? And finally, T. T is for time, and honestly, this is the most critical part of the whole shebang. Time means you act immediately. If you spot even one of these signs, you absolutely do not wait around to see if it gets better in an hour. You call for emergency medical help right then and there. The clock is ticking, and in this scenario, time literally equals brain cells. And lastly, section 4. Relatives can save lives. To all the adult children, the friends, and the caregivers tuning in, you are so often the very first line of defense. Let me share a really common, very real scenario from our source material. Imagine a 65-year-old dad. He wakes up one morning and feels like his right arm is just a bit heavy, a bit weak. What does he do? Well, he rationalizes it, of course. He tells himself, I must just be tired today. He completely writes it off. But then his observant daughter walks into the room. She looks at him and she spots that his smile is just slightly crooked. She doesn't try to play doctor or diagnose him herself, but she knows immediately that something is off, and she gets him medical help right away. See, during a stroke, the patient themselves often can't even recognize their own physical or cognitive decline, so it falls directly on the family to spot those missed signals. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why we have to commit these 8 signs to memory. And I want you to pay very special attention to the word sudden. A sudden face droop, sudden limb weakness, sudden slurred speech, sudden intense dizziness, that out of nowhere headache, abrupt vision changes, sudden confusion, and sudden swallowing trouble. You don't need to wait for all 8 of these to show up. If you or a loved one experience even just one of these sudden symptoms, it warrants an immediate trip to the doctor. Look, it's always better to be safe, get checked by a pro, and be told you're fine, rather than ignoring a blaring warning alarm from your own body. But you know, knowledge is only truly powerful if you share it. I highly encourage you to pass this explainer along to your parents, your friends, really anyone you love who's over 50. Sharing this could be the exact intervention someone needs to catch a symptom before it's too late. Because acting fast literally stops the clock on a stroke. So, I want to leave you with this one final thought. If you had just 60 seconds to evaluate a loved one right now and potentially save their life today, would you know exactly what to look for?